I've lived in Bristol for about 12 years and had about that many landlords as well in the time. And most of the time it's been like a room in a shared house where you can get any old people living with you, any situations. It's very chaotic. And finally I got a flat to myself, and it's quite cheap rent, affordable rent anyway for me. The trouble is the landlord is a slum landlord, and it takes forever to get anything done. I'm quite scared to even ask him. And then the issue came up of my boiler breaking down, and the landlord was like just really slack about getting anything done. So for 3 months I had no working boiler for a hot bath. So I was literally boiling pans on the hob and boiling kettles to get a bath together. The landlord was doing nothing. Bristol's a really interesting place where housing is concerned, because it's very much it's a small city, but it's got a lot of frontline movements going on.
Well, Acorn is, we describe ourselves as a community union or community organisation. The way that we work is we pick a neighbourhood in a given city, and we knock on people's doors, surveying them, talking to them about the problems that they feel are the biggest issues facing themselves, their families, the local community. And then we get people together, organise them to take action to improve the situation as they see it.
It's a great organisation, and it's very much about the voice of what the people who are members and who we speak to on the streets and knocking on doors, what they actually are bothered about, the issues that are real to them. And the thing that's come out on top has really been housing, particularly in Easton, which is where the first branch was in Bristol.
Yeah, what we're doing is we're knocking on people's doors, trying to fill out information from people who rent their homes privately, from private landlords. Because what we're trying to do is find out information about landlords who are good and letting agents who are good, but also letting agents and landlords who are bad. And the reason for that is we've written an ethical lettings charter that sets certain standards for the private rented sector. So it calls for affordable rents, for decent physical standards of housing, and for the use of longer tenancies.
Oh, yeah, do you guys rent?
Yeah, we rent.
Is it a shared house?
Yeah, it's a shared house.
Is it through a letting agent or a private landlord?
No, private landlord.
A lot of the situations are caused by really financial and social deprivation, and a lack of support from funding, central government funding and local funding, to do anything about it. You know, it all started with Thatcher selling off the council houses, and basically nothing's got better since.
Of those people who bought those houses, now a large proportion of those houses are now rented out by buy-to-let landlords. It's not even that the people who bought the house are living in it. It's just that now they've become rental properties in the private rental sector. When council sold all those off, it didn't build any more. So the available housing stock has gone down. More and more people are competing for a relatively decreasing amount of houses, which means that it's a letter's market. People can charge whatever they want. They don't need to worry about keeping houses in good condition, because tenants are ten a penny. And if one tenant turns their nose up at a house with the ceiling falling in, or damp or mould all over the walls, there'll be 10 behind them. He'll say, "No, I'll take it."
What you find is that a lot of these landlords, they won't do anything because they think people are isolated. They think it's individuals that they're dealing with. That's why a community union is brilliant, because it's like people are coming together. It's not just one person on their own that can be exploited. It's the whole community want that landlord there, who remember the community as well, to change the way they're acting, just treat people with a bit more respect.
So you've got rental insecurity, people not knowing how long they're going to be able to stay in a home, landlords being able to get people out of houses with minimum notice, often with no notice, which is illegal. That adds to the homelessness situation in the city generally. Yeah, we think that the council are estimating there's going to be around 200 rough sleepers in the city by the end of the year.
Social support's been cut down massively to anyone that's disadvantaged. You know, so it is very much up to communities now to kind of rally together and create groups like Acorn, independent groups, to try and change things. And in a way, that's actually kind of quite empowering, because it's sort of a big, you know, to the system.
Well, I'd say there's a big disparity. There's a big skew to individualism at the moment, and that's for political reasons, so that once people are separated, they can be exploited. So I'd say the fix-all solution to most people's problems today, whether that's work or accommodation or money or anything like that, is to collectivise. People are always trying to change your mind for you or keep it set in a certain way. So if you can see another alternative to the situation you're in, and you can change your mind about possibilities, then you'll be freer.
At the Land Trust, we're just getting towards the finish of our first housing project, which will be 12 affordable houses. And I think we probably believe that although it's been very, very difficult to do that, and at times we've almost been minded to give up, that the experience will be very useful and subsequent projects will benefit from that, and it should get easier as we go along. So although I'm not claiming that we've achieved very much, I am definitely holding out the hope that we may be able to build on what we've done and do a lot more in the future of a similar kind.
I think what's great about these kind of community housing projects is that they open up the potential for loads of different models of ownership that aren't conventional, because we've gone from a society where most homes were rented, like either privately or socially rented, but at quite low levels of rent, to a society where people have been kind of encouraged in various ways to own their own home.
As the level of crisis rises and the need becomes more and more unavoidable, people will do all sorts of things. And also, I'm sure, from the local authority and government point of view, the status quo will find it harder and harder to hold the line on an ideological basis when there are more and more people being more and more visible who don't have anywhere to live or nowhere good to live.
And so what can we do about it? Well, even what we did about it here was lots of people, because people do own their own homes here. We just started off by having our own conversations among neighbours and tried to see if we can find our own solutions to that, and that's still an ongoing conversation. But in terms of projects more broadly and new projects that are setting up, there are loads of different models that we can use to keep housing more affordable and more within the control of the wider community, so it's not like a single landowner or house owner that has control over it. But for example, if you have a community land trust, that's an opportunity for the homes to be owned or part owned by a group that's representative of the wider community, and that can make sure that the people who are offered homes there are people in real housing need, people who've got